But one was, and it was the league that we're playing in. Kind of, I did spearheaded through there, but Brantford got a portion of the proceeds. And what it was is, we bought every football jersey from the Hamilton Tiger Cats and Toronto Argonauts that played on a Labor Day game. So we basically put a promise in that we would pay for and replace every football jersey that these guys would be wearing. And they're about $160 at the time. They're probably $300 now to a proper jersey done up with the. So I had about 100 jerseys, 90 jerseys times $140. So it was in the whole 20 grand.
And this was really before eBay.
Yes, this is before eBay. They actually used some sort of service for this.
The internet at this point is still in its infancy of doing what we're doing.
And it was one of the first kind of auctions on. And I can remember I was in my daughter's at BC at the deadline. And of course, it didn't go well. The CFL really didn't encompass it because they didn't do that kind of thing. The Labor Day game, they had this old clock back at Ivor Stadium. You couldn't see because the sun was shining, you couldn't see the notice board. So of course our notice that, the jerseys are going to be auctioned off, online. So it was a real struggle, but I think I was at $14,000 at 11:30 to the 12 o'clock midnight deadline. And I'm thinking, oh my God, where are we going to come up with the $10,000 more? And what am I going to say to everybody? Because I got to bill everybody. I say, hey, we lost money on this deal.
Just break even.
Well, we did, and we ended up making $3,000 by 4 the midnight. In fact, there were so many bids online that it shut down the system. Oh. It wasn't capable of keeping up. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, it shut down right at midnight. If you had some forethought, you would say if somebody bids, you keep it open for another 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. You could put some forethought, but it was quite the scare at the time because $80,000 is a lot of money when we didn't have the money, and turned out that we made $3,000.
A couple of jerseys were funny. I forget his first name. His last name was Coe. C-O-E. He was a Canadian Western, played in university out there, been picked up by the Ticats, middle linebacker. Well, the story came out later. It was his aunt and his mother were bidding against each other, and they didn't know it. So, of course, they drove his jersey way up. Mm-hmm. Another, who was the quarterback at the time?
McManus.
Danny McManus.
And we thought it was Danny that was doing the bidding because it was, the email address was Danny McManus at something. And it turned out it was his stalker.
That was trying to buy the...
Wow. And he says, that's nothing to do with me. That's the problem I have. And there was a stalker or somebody that wasn't any connection to Danny.
A couple of the young players, where their names weren't known, they bought their own.
They don't get their jerseys.
So that went off well. But they were, and they were all autographed by the players, so...
But that was a little bit of fun, trying to fundraise and taking a gamble.
Would you say that was one of your most successful fundraisers? Or
No. Maybe it would cause more gray hair than anything else, that one. Now, today, with the eBay, with the way they're bidding, you could run something like that very successfully.
Yeah,
yes.
Much more smoothly.
Yeah.
It's surprising no one has.
And you see, that's back at the time I was in the internet business, and I remember just the fact that someone was online back then, you could almost use as a credit check. Like... You were pretty well off to be online and have a computer. It's not like today where you're born with one.
Because people had to send checks, and it was
it
was a struggle. Then there was jerseys of people I didn't even know, because you have to set this all up in advance. And there was players that the kids that maybe played the one game, or got called up to play the one game that was on the practice roster. So there's jerseys I had that I didn't even know who they were, and you're stuck with them. You're stuck. It's $160. So we gave them out to different fundraisers and things like that. And we've had some good fun. We had a fundraiser here in town where we sold Angelo Mosca's jersey. We made one up and had him sign it, and Gretzky's jersey we were able to get, and I think we actually Bruce Smith's helmet. He played for the Buffalo Bills. And who was the quarterback?
Kelly.
I had the opportunity of having lunch with those two guys that was kind of nice for me, you know, to go down to Buffalo and get this from these guys. And actually, my wife got to have lunch at the Mosca family house to get this thing autographed, and got invited in and spent the afternoon with the Mosca family, and got to learn. So there's some nice things in there with some craziness.